Our group trip to Vietnam is now live. Y'all, I'm so excited. I am looking forward to this trip. We are going to be stopping first in Hanoi, then we're going to be trekking down to Ninh Binh, and then we're going to do a 2-day luxury cruise in Halong Bay. Now, the visuals here do not even come close to capturing the experience that we are about to have. I have been looking at everything on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And y'all, this is going to be the trip of the year. Now, what you need to do right now is click the link in the description of this video. Listen, make your deposit. We have flexible payment plans. We have a few more early bird spots left. Go ahead and get those because you can get $200 off. And listen, register today. Don't delay. Let's go to Vietnam and have the time of our lives. But first, we got to get into the breaking tea. What in the world? Dr. Wendy and Eddie Osefo, what in the world? Y'all, let's get into this tea. What up, y'all? What's going on? We back in the building. Y'all know, of course, we're going to be talking about a little bit of Wendy news today. And we're also going to be talking about Stacy. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about Tammy Roman. So, and of course, I'm gonna toss in a little bit of love and hip hop as well, because I did, catch the episode. And there's a couple of key things that I do want to discuss with y'all. Okay. So listen, if you guys are in the chatterization, just know that your comments are on the screen. So don't say nothing crazy. Otherwise, I will have to eject you faster. Okay. I ain't gonna say what I was about to say because it ain't nice. It ain't really nice. And it ain't really, I don't know if it ain't really that much true. I don't think. I was about to say faster than they could eject Wendy from her job. But we don't know what the case is. Okay. We don't know. Um, very much not true. Okay, very much not true. VLT. Very, very much not true. I always try to pick locations for these trips where the peoples that look like me, okay, and a lot of us will feel safe. Okay, I always try to pick places where we can go and we can feel safe. If you want to roam around the streets at night, okay, you can do so. I was so shocked when I got to Thailand and found out that people was roaming the streets after midnight, running down to 7-Eleven and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So no, that's not true. I did my research on this. Trust and believe. I'm going someplace where we can be and we can be free, we can feel free, and we can just exist without the worries that somebody is out to get us. Okay. Boom. Okay, y'all. So there is more Dr. Wendy news. All right. There is more Dr. Wendy news. Mm, 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 mm. And I felt like yesterday we had talked about, the ramifications of what this could mean for Eddie. I was about to say Eddie Winslow. Why? Why? For Eddie Osefo, and what that could mean for you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much, y'all. I really, really do. Hey, y'all. That's right. That's right. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Smash that like button, smash it, flip it, rub it down, do all the things. Do all the things. Okay. I know. I can't take it no more either. I can't take no more either. All right. Um, it's like don't nobody bring me no bad news. All right. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Okay, so let's get into it. This kind of broke out after we had our discussion yesterday. So I want to dive right in. All right. So there was news yesterday that Wendy had lost her Wesleyan University job after the arrest and fraud charges. For those of you guys who may not have heard, she teaches a course at Wesleyan, and it was, you know, it's unfortunate because the class that she was teaching was super interesting. It's super important as well. I'm going to give you guys the name of the class that she was teaching, and then we're going to further get into the story because I feel like it's important for you to understand the nuance of the situation. Give me 1 second because I want to make sure that I get this right. Hold on to your horses. Okay. So she was teaching a course called The Sociology of Reality TV, Race, Colorism, and Xenophobia. All right. Now, students were notified that she would no longer be teaching the course through an email from the All-Britain Center director, who explained that Wendy would no longer be teaching. And she was replaced by Professor Courtney Patterson Fay. Now, some students say that the news came as a shock, describing Wendy as cool and funny in class. One even said that they were emailing her about an assignment when they learned she wouldn't be coming back. Now, this is, of course, related to the 16 to 18 counts that they were charged with, including felony fraud and felony insurance fraud, conspiracy, and making false statements to police after allegedly staging a home burglary and claiming nearly $500,000 in fake insurance losses. All right. So the update on that is this. Apparently, it's not so bad, but still not good, right? So the update on that is that she voluntarily stepped down from Wesleyan University before her fraud charges went public. Okay. So in a statement to People on Tuesday, which was yesterday, a spokesperson for Wendy said, contrary to recent media reports, Dr. Wendy Osefo was not terminated from a faculty position at Wesleyan University. She formally submitted her letter of resignation prior to any public announcement made by the university. The rep then went on to say, Dr. Osefo made the voluntary decision to step down from her role. This decision was made independently and communicated directly to the university before any external reports surfaced. A spokesperson for Wesleyan confirmed her exit, stating Wendy Osefo is no longer an employee of Wesleyan University. She resigned from her position. Okay. As you can see, some of the responses to the news, I'll just leave those there. I would say, but basically this. I mean, here's the thing. This was definitely the smartest thing for her to do. Better to resign than for it to be a firing situation, because ultimately it's going to be a while before we know what a verdict is, what would be a sentencing for this. It makes the most sense that she would voluntarily step down, because the optics of it look like, I don't want to bring disgrace to this university through what is happening with me in the media currently. So smart play, definitely what I would have suggested that she do if I'm her PR person, if I am on her crisis management team. I am definitely saying, girl, resign before they fire you. Okay, because the firing was going to come. Point blank in the period, right? Point blank and the period. She was going to be she was going to be fired if she didn't resign. Period. Simply Shamar says, more than likely it was done to save face. Usually they ask for the resignation versus firing. If she clears her name, she could come back. It's the same way that whether you guys know this or not, like, I'm going to just kind of be honest about something that a lot of people don't know. And some people do. A lot of times when housewives leave the shows in general, not Wendy and the university, but when they leave the show, whatever show that they're on, it is it is a very tiny few amount of housewives that leave on their own, right? a lot of times when they do make their departure statement, from my understanding, is that the network allows them the courtesy of saying, I'm choosing to step away, right? They do, from my understanding, also want the star to make that statement on their own. Okay. They want you to come out and go ahead and make the statement. Here's the verbiage that you can use, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So to me, this is, whether or not it was a forced resignation, whether or not they allowed her to say that, I mean, I do believe that she made the smart play. Her team made the smart play to say, let's go ahead and nip this in the bud right now before it gets to be a point where you are fired, right? Not that that's really going to save any face, given the circumstances and the magnitude of the circumstances herein. I just kind of feel like this was definitely the smart thing to do. All right. Okay. Yes, that was from another position, from my understanding. This is something that she was currently doing. Exactly. She left John Hopkins of her own volition. All right. So here's, okay. I'm kind of torn about where to, like, how to, we're going to go into our next story and we're going to circle back to Wendy. So, but I want you guys to just follow me on this journey. Okay. If you trust me, follow me on this journey. All right. The first place that we're going to go is, we're going to go and take a visit to Stacy land. Okay. So yesterday, this also came out about Stacy. Okay. Hey, boo. Yes, smash it, smash it, smash it. Let's talk about Stacy. Now, the show, i.e., the ladies on the show, and I'm not gonna lie, from things that I've also heard myself, people have been sort of positioning Stacy as someone who has a very interesting relationship with the truth. I think that's a fair statement, right? You know, we, based on the surface of what we can see, it appears as though there is a bit of an interesting relationship with the same reality that we live in, right? Sometimes it appears as though Stacy lives in an alternate reality, which seems very fun and whimsical. You know, it seems absolutely fun. It seems whimsical. It seems stress-free. And sometimes I myself think to myself, maybe I should be living in Stacy land because she seems very happy there. But what we now know is, shout out to Queens of Bravo, shout out to TMZ, shout out to the Jasmine brand for that last story. According to legal docs obtained by TMZ, Stacy and TMO divorced last year, and it says there was a final decree entered on the docket on December the 16th of 2024, but it remains under seal. Now, the docs show that TMO filed for divorce in early December 2024, saying that the couple married in Germany in September of 2007 and had been separated since August of 2023. He said that they apparently hammered out a quick settlement as there was no hope of possibility of a reconciliation between the parties. Stacy and Tiamo are now back together. That's her storyline this season. And she told viewers she and Tiamo decided to reconcile during a family Christmas getaway in Mexico with their 9-year-old daughter, Arabella, after she found out on the trip that they were officially divorced. So it seems like her timeline jives with the dates on the legal filings. So, has Stacy been vindicated for you? Do you feel as though the ladies owe Stacy a bit of an apology? Hmm. Hmm. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I personally have, my own questions about like, well, why is it under seal? Um, he filed in December. I would have thought that they had filed previously, given her relationship with TJ. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But if the docs are there, the docs are there, and she didn't lie. Shamar says, I think after Mia stole the spotlight in the first chair at the reunion and got caught lying, Jizzy and Ash are extra vigilant with Stacy. I think and now, you know what's funny to me? I don't mind them questioning Stacy about things that seem quite dubious to me, right? I don't mind them asking questions about her, because sometimes I feel like Stacy sets herself up for these things, but I don't like the bad breath of it all. I feel like that's where we start to get into like a bit of a mean spirited type of thing. Yeah, it may be funny on the surface, but at the end of the day, it's like for 2 episodes, we're talking about her breath. And I just kind of think I like the way that Stacy has handled that personally. And I just think that she's just kind of rolled with it. She's talked about with her goddess breath. She's like, I'll take the breath, man. You know what I'm saying? It rolls off of her and she just kind of keeps on dancing, right? And I think that for me, I I can take Stacy sort of maybe n- not being very cagey, because I don't feel like Stacy doesn't come across as malicious, right? And I think that's the difference. It's easier to digest Stacy and all her whimsicalness because she does not come across like she is out to get someone, right? Like she is like, doing like, I don't know. I just don't feel like she's like, ugh, she doesn't give me like dark spirited energy, you know? I mean, look at her, you know, she's just, she's just, I mean, she's kind of harmless and wonderfully weird to me. Now, Peggy says Stacy is conniving. Mm. Peggy, what makes you feel that she is conniving? I mean, I don't know well enough to know, right? Okay. Um, okay, so let's follow Stacy and her dance of a jig, right? Let's follow Stacy as she still rises. Stand by because I want to get your thoughts on what we have next. Okay. Now, I told y'all follow this journey with me. If you follow this journey with me, we're going to circle on back to something, okay? Stay with me. So, Stacy here, as you can see, filming her blue confessional. But then you go here and Stacy is filming what appears to be an after show. Hmm. Hmm. So then the question becomes, who is she filming the after show with? Do you think that Stacy is filming the after show by herself, a la Katie from OC, or do you think she's filming with someone? I want to know your answers in the chat. Do you think she's filming with someone? And if she is filming with somebody, who do you think she's filming with? Write it in the chat. Let us know. Next, my question to you is this. Do you think that Wendy is filming the after show? Let me know. Do you think that Wendy is filming the after show? Let me know in the chat. I'm interested in knowing what you guys think. And we're going to move, and then we're going to circle back to Wendy because I have something else that came out yesterday that you guys may want to hear. Okay. So stand by. I'm just waiting in the chat to see who you guys. Patricia says, "Ooh, you know what?" Patricia says, "Yes, Wendy is filming the after show." I heard Wendy is back on set. Probably with Wendy. I think it's Wendy filming the after show with Stacy. Standing by. This is so fascinating. Like I'm telling y'all, that's why I said just follow me on this journey today, y'all. Because we got some tea, some piping hot tea that came out yesterday. And I don't know if it's piping hot tea, but it really further, I think, puts the nail in the coffin for the allegations against Wendy. Atia says Stacy's filming with Tia. Bravo has made no statements as of yet that I would know of that Wendy has been fired. So I don't think she has been fired. Okay. So you know what? I hate when I look in the chat and somebody is rushing me. Let me cook, friend. Let me cook. I'm not going to highlight your comment because it doesn't need to be highlighted. Okay. It's not a nail in the coffin per se, like a hard-edged nail, but it definitely don't sound good. Okay? So hold on one second as we look at Stacy, but listen to this.
So her neighbor slid into my DM. Basically, that they all got notices on their front door or in their mailbox that there had been a burglary, and it was at the, Wendy and Eddie's house. The whole entire neighborhood was thinking, this is insurance fraud. Really? But they all thought something was kind of shady about it.
Something was fishy.
Fishy. Like
Stacy's breath.
You know I was going to say that.
Why y'all go there? Okay, listen again. This is from Tamara and Teddy's podcast. Someone slid into Tamara's DMs who lives in the neighborhood that Wendy lives in. They allegedly told Tamara that they all got notices about the burglary when it happened. But immediately, the people in the neighborhood thought that it was insurance fraud. So listen again.
I don't think Alexia expected.
So her neighbor slid into my DM. Basically, that they all got notices on their front door or in their mailbox that there had been a burglary, and it was at the, Wendy and Eddie's house. The whole entire neighborhood was thinking, this is insurance fraud.
Really?
But they all thought something was kind of shady about it.
Something was fishy.
Fishy. Like
Stacy's breath.
You know I was going to say that.
So a lot of you guys asked why they were talking about Stacy's breath. They were recapping the episode of Potomac because they do recap a lot of the reality TV shows. When Tamara is when they need to recap OC, they tend to put on a guest for OCs because that would be a conflict of interest for Tamara to recap the show on that show. So in this recap clip that they posted on their social media, they basically dropped this tea that someone in the neighborhood had contacted Tamara and basically told her that when that notice came out, that they all thought it was insurance fraud. Now, I don't know Wendy's neighbors, okay? I don't know the neighbors. But man, let me tell you something. You got to gird your loins with these people that you live around. You know what I'm saying? You have got to gird your entire loins when you in these communities. See, and that be why I don't easily make friends with the people in the neighborhood. And there's no offense. It's just that I got to develop a real deep sense of trust for you. And I understand we all live in the same community, but you know, some neighbors could be, you know, just nosy, right? And some neighbors could really have your back, have your best intentions. The problem is you just don't know in the beginning who is who. You don't know. Shamar says the arrest is bringing eyes to the show. Why would they fire her now? Bravo gonna milk this for everything that they can. I mean, I wouldn't fire her as of yet. I mean, especially because we don't know whether or not she's guilty. I mean, think about the Jen Shaw of it all. They filmed with her up until they really couldn't anymore. You know what I'm saying? And because it's like at the end of the day, it is innocent until proven guilty, right? And the charges are there. And if we're looking at the sense of this is how the legal system works, that you are innocent until proven guilty, even though the public perception may be that you are guilty, Wendy and Eddie have not yet spoken out about their innocence or guilt in this situation. They've simply put out a statement that they are okay. All right. And I think that people are always going to be looking for what you say after the charges have been brought about. Similar to Jen Shaw. Jen Shaw deny. We get it, right? That didn't work out for her too well. So I don't know about the neighbors. I don't know the people she live around. I don't know any of that. And again, I have to say alleged because I didn't get the tea, right? The tea came from Tamara. And so we're just going to have to leave it there. But it's very, very interesting. And that's right. The police did ask neighbors for their camera footage as well. So there is that. There is that. So this will be interesting to see. The after show should be coming up in a couple of weeks if they're filming it now. So I would imagine by episode 5 or 6, we should be getting that. And so I'm interested to see how this all plays out and to see if you guys are correct and if Wendy was filming or not. We'll have to wait and see, right? Right. Okay, last but not least, I wanted to touch on, oh my God, I don't even know. Am I gonna even touch on Love and Hip Hop? We got so much to do. This is a tip. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I literally wouldn't even comment on this. The only reason I'm commenting on this story is because Tammy was being interviewed by a former housewife, and we know per a conversation with Tammy and Don Juan that at some point in time it had been brought up to Bravo to cast Tammy Roman as a housewife, and it never came to fruition because at that point in time, the network allegedly just didn't want to have any association with talent from another network, which is also understandable to a certain degree, because I do feel like at that point in time, Bravo was riding super high in the ratings, and I'm sure they wanted to distance themselves from the fisticuffs of the brawl that changed the game in the in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, when Stevie J and Jocelyn literally ran through that thing and beat everybody down. Okay. So I'm sure that there was probably a concerted effort to continue to distance themselves from that level of debauchery in that type of way, right? Perhaps, maybe, I don't know. So when I saw this note, when I saw this here posted on the Neighborhood Talk about Tammy Roman, it was a very interesting conversation that I thought it would be fun to have this conversation with you guys because I do have an opinion about it, and we'll keep it pretty cute and mute, right? Not mute, but just kind of cute. So Tammy says her daughter's girlfriend can't attend her graduation because she's not comfortable with it, right? Um, and this is a very interesting conversation because to me, we've seen Tammy have a conversation with her daughter about her sexuality. And I think personally speaking, that I like seeing these conversations happen because I think what it does is if you can't have the honest conversation about where you're at currently, then you really can't progress. And that's just where it starts and stops for me. I think for a lot of people in the LGBTQIA community, you may have grown up with a parent who may or may not have been approving of or understanding of your lifestyle, right? And I think the biggest thing for a child who is growing up as part of that community is that your parent can embrace you at any point in time, regardless of who it is that you choose to love at whatever point in time you choose to love them, right? And so I think Tammy putting the restriction on her daughter that she can't have her girlfriend at her graduation, it feels very harsh to me, and I think to a lot of other people, because at the end of the day, as Candy states, but it's her graduating and not you. But Tammy says this. She says, I got to take a step back and see how it works for me. I got to be concerned about my mental health. Okay. And, it's such an interesting place for me with Tammy because I don't, in 2025, I didn't realize that this was how she felt in this way. But I will say this. All right. I will say this. I like that she was able to actually state how she felt, even if the majority of the people in the room did not agree. And the reason why I say that is because, again, there can be no progress if there is no honesty. Okay. There can't be progress if there is no honesty. And even though I might not agree with how she feels, I respect where she is, but I would also have to say that whether she paid for the schooling or not, um, personally speaking, her daughter is an adult. It really has nothing to do with Tammy at that point. This is her daughter's day. And if she's not comfortable with the girlfriend doesn't have to be anywhere in the vicinity of Tammy because maybe the girlfriend also is uncomfortable with Tammy at that point. And this is, you know, that's to me where it starts and stops. If she wants to have the girlfriend there, she can have the girlfriend there. They don't have to come into contact because guess what? Graduation is going to be filled with a whole bunch of people. And at the end of the day, you ain't got to run into nobody that you don't want to run into. And for me, for Tammy, I'm quite sure, you have had to deal with quite a few more people that you might have been uncomfortable with, and you've done it and you've gotten paid to do it, right? Granted, I get it that this is your daughter and this is also a moment as a parent for you. I'm not going to deny that, but I also think that there has to be space for your daughter to live her life and for the people in her life to be able to celebrate her equally as well. That's just how I feel personally. Um, and so that's why I say at the end of the day, I'm happy to see these conversations happen because if they don't happen, you don't ever get an opportunity to move the needle with people with where they are currently, so we can respect where Tammy is. We don't have to like it or agree with it, but there is a way around this whole situation, and that is have them both there, and they don't have to have any contact with either of them. Okay? Period. That's it. It's really just open communication. But again, I don't want to ever knock somebody for not having the same view that I have, because I can't begin to understand them if they're not truthful in where they stand. And I think if we always get so busy knocking down people who don't have the same thing, agreement with us, the same sentiment with us, we can never move to this space where we can actually get to a place where we can say, okay, how do we begin to have that understanding? And it takes conversations like this for it to blossom in that way. You know? So that's where I'm at with it. And I just thought, how can what is my take on a situation like this that could possibly make that situation better, right? What would I want to see have happen? What I want to have happen? Because guess what? I guarantee you there are a lot more parents out there that feel the way that Tammy feels than there are not. And people need to feel validated, but people also need to see that there's another way. That's all I'm saying. So, all right, real quick. Do we even talk about Love and Hip Hop? I mean, I feel like we've covered so much already. What I'll say is this about Love and Hip Hop. We ended the season. And to me, with Love and Hip Hop, I feel like this. Apparently, Selma, the whole Selma and 24 Hours thing, she has admitted that she did have conversations with him. She makes it seem like he's an ex from the past that she's still communicating with. Now, he is saying to Sierra and anybody else that will listen that he was smashing her, and she is basically saying that they just had communication. And 24 Hours is going to stick beside her. And I think that's just that. And in my opinion, at the end of the day, people are going to go where their bread is buttered. Let me say that again for those of you guys who didn't hear. People are going to go where their bread is buttered. So when you see a lot of these relationships on TV and we see them play out, and we wonder why, these people stay in this situation, or why they continue to go back, even if something happens that maybe a lot of us would maybe not tolerate. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, people are always going to go where their bread is buttered. And that is going to explain why you will see someone stay even when all of the evidence may point to something else. And for that, I just have to let people be grown people and let them do what they do, right? People can hoot and holler about what you would do in that situation, what somebody should do. But the reality of the situation is there are more people than not who likely stay in situations that could be unhealthy because they feel like their bread is being buttered in some type of way. And to be quite honest with you, I agree, Jackie. At a certain point in time, if it works for them, in my real life, in my day-to-day life, my philosophy is this: if it works for you, I do not care what you do. I would prefer for somebody to handle the situation the way 24 Hours did. Don't get all crazy, throwing stuff around, screaming. I think that his reaction was the fact that it came out at the dinner on his 9th anniversary, and people were there that knew about it that did not tell him. I think if he had been told in private, he probably would have handled this situation the same way that he did without all of the drama. Again, because that's where his bread is buttered. And they're 10 years in the game, or 10 years in the game at this point. And I just think it's just that, to be honest with you, which also would explain to you why a Rashida would continue to stay with the Kirk even after all of the things that they have gone through. I can't necessarily for certain say the same with Yandy and Mendices because I don't understand their connection well enough for me to really get a gauge on why they choose to keep staying with each other when it seems as though they are clearly very unhappy with each other. The thing that I think is different for Kirk and Rashida, at least in this stage and in this era, is that they understand that Kirk has some ish with him, and she is going to be okay with it after she gets mad, blows a fuse, and acts like she's gonna leave. She's gonna stay because that's where her bread is buttered. That's where his bread is buttered, and that's gonna be that. Yandy and Mendices is a very curious case because I don't know if there's any real paperwork to tie the two of them together. I don't know if they're a circumstance of common law marriage or whatever that may be in whatever state that is. I don't know. My Law and Order University degree only goes so far. But I would wager to say that there was a level of comfort between the two of them. They had been through so much. There's so much history there. But at the end of the day, it really just seems like for Yandy and Mendices that they just don't like each other. And that's a good point, Ashley. Some people are just also afraid to start over. I get it. You know, some people going to just protect their businesses, and that's going to be that. And that's what's going to listen, because finances are a huge thing for people in this day and age. And if you're getting money together, you're getting bread together, this is your partner in crime. I mean, who am I to say? You know, because again, in my real life, outside of watching these shows, guess what? I could care less. I can care less. However you choose to manage your relationship is how you choose to manage it. There are enough other things that I could be thinking about that I don't really need to even worry about that. Even with my own friends, I don't care. Are you happy? Cool. If you like it, I love it. That's where I'm at with everything. If you like it, I love it. Because I'm trying to go on my next trip. I can't be thinking about that. But I think that would explain why you would see 24 hours react the way that he reacted with Selma. I think that's it. The other thing that occurs in this episode is that there is a little bit of resolve with Zane and Ashley with the group. Zane ultimately apologizes to the group after having some conversation with Mendices about staying out of the women's issues. He ultimately apologizes to all of the women, Rennie and Carly included, for his actions, and he apologizes to 24 Hours. 24 Hours forgives him. Carly and Ashley have a very circuitous sort of resolve to their issues. But Rennie is very instrumental in brokering peace in most of the situations of this episode, making her, to me, a more valuable character on this show than she had previously seemed to be. Also, it seemed as though because Mama D is Scrappy's mom, it seemed as though 24 Hours was really quick to sort of get beyond the fact that Mama D, in my opinion, the way she brought that situation out with 24 Hours was very mean to me. And I get it. She was making reality TV. But at the same time, I just found that there was a total lack of finesse with that. And I just think that it was meant to create a moment that really was designed to sow discord for 24 hours, period. But the thing that I think is going to be interesting, and we don't see the Kirks and Rashidas, not that I can remember, we don't see a lot of other people that have had things going on this season. So there is a lot of resolve that we didn't get. And now we have this new beef with Selma ready to expose Sierra. And we'll have to see how that plays out. I don't know necessarily that Selma needs to just be mad at Sierra as much as she may need to be mad at the dude that she was talking to, because he's the one who's running around telling people about it, which is very weird to me. But this is Love and Hip Hop, so it kind of goes to show. So those are my thoughts. I mean, we had a lot to cover, so I couldn't obviously get too deep into it because I did not want to go into this being an hours long thing. Guys, what I want to tell you is tonight, I want to show you how to get some Maldives money. I want to show you how to get to the Maldives. We're having a call at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So text 202-918-3386. Text Maldives, all caps. If you know where the Maldives is, this is for you. If you don't know where it is, go look it up. It is an exclusive, like lavish island or set of islands that are set in the middle of the ocean that is absolutely beautiful. Now, it usually costs up to about $5,000 to $10,000 to go there, but I'm going to show you how you can get a complimentary trip there for two, okay? And I'm also going to be giving away free cruises. Yes, for two. So that's two complimentary vacations, okay? And I'm also going to show you how to get paid. Now, I've changed this to Maldives. It used to be worldwide. The reason why I changed it is because I want people that are absolutely very serious about making some income in the travel industry without being a travel agent and want to travel all the time, okay? If this is you and you got the time to do it, to travel, then text me at this number. If you don't have the time to travel, if you are currently in a situation of dire straits, this is not for you, okay? I just want to let you know that. So definitely tap in Maldives, 202-918-3386. Text me right now, okay? Text me right now, and in a few hours, I will send you the Zoom link to join us at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all right? With that being said, y'all, make sure you keep it locked on the channel, and I will, of course, catch you in. Yes. let me. I want to clear that up, and that's a good question, Jacqueline, because a lot of people have this concern. For me, I've never had an issue getting back into the country. I have also global entry, which gets me back into the country super, super fast. Just make sure you have your passport. I mean, I have not had any issues. I've not seen anyone have any issues when I'm coming back into the country. So don't fall for the hype that you can't travel, that you can't get out of the country, that you can't maneuver how you want to maneuver. Just do your due diligence about where you're going. Be safe, be smart about things that you say and post and all that kind of stuff like that. And I think you'll be good to go. Okay. All right. With that being said, thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Let me know if something else pops off. Listen, I'm trying to just do the lives once a day. So if something pops off, we'll come back tomorrow and then we'll talk about it. But for right now, make sure you guys have a good day. It's a Wednesday. It's hump day. It's midweek. And I want to make sure that you guys are out there living your best lives. So with that being said, will I be recapping Salt Lake City? I don't know. I also have my Substack link in the description for you guys. I am thinking that that's going to be the Substack will allow me to also put out a lot more material, like audio podcasts. I may do an audio podcast for Salt Lake City. But subscribe to the Substack, you guys, because that'll be a way that I can actually send you out updates all the time so that you don't miss anything, right? So if I do something audio, you can just kind of be listening to it while you're at the gym, while you're driving or something like that. Because sometimes it's a lot of extra effort to be on camera and provide you guys with visuals. And sometimes I can just be able to talk about something and get it out audio-wise so that you can actually hear it. So the Substack link, all of my links are right in the top of the description of this video. So just check on there. They're already there right now. I'm just trying to think of ways to be more efficient, get you guys information and get stuff out to you guys even faster. Okay. Yes, definitely. We're sending out prayers for all of our people who are working in government who need to get back to work in terms of who need to get paid for their work. Right. Because that's a rough situation for a lot of people. So we want to make sure that we keep those guys in prayers as well. Love you guys too, and I will catch you in the next video.